Afternoon on Western Sports Roundup, the professional bull riders. How about a big weekend for Brady Fielder walking out of INDY, Indianapolis, with the event title. He rode all three of his bulls. We'll tell you the story coming up.
We're also going to take you out to Andrews, Texas for the annual Fiser Memorial Steer Roping. This is a big event, a big-time fundraiser, and a lot of gentlemen getting it together for a great event with a great cause. We'll tell you the history of that Memorial Steer Roping and talk about the winners.
So how fast can team ropers go? How about a 2.9 in Austin? For the second time in 2 weeks, they have broken a record at Rodeo Austin. Dustin Egaskiza and J.C. Flake, the brothers-in-law, at 2.9.
Wow, that is a brand new record in our game of pro rodeo, not to mention Rodeo Austin.
Well, hi, everybody, from the beautiful new Cowboy Channel studios in Fort Worth, Texas. Nice to have you with us. I'm Steve Kenyon alongside Elise Sutherland, and we welcome you to Western Sports Roundup this afternoon. Boy, we've got a lot of variety to get to, Elise, starting with the second world record in 2 weeks at Rodeo Austin in the team roping.
It took 16 years to beat the first 3-3 set by world champions Chad Masters and Jade Corkle, but it just took days basically to see what Dustin Egaskiza and J.C. Flake could set the new record with a 2.9. Yeah. Steve, when you talk about how fast can team roping get, we can see how fast this just happened to be.
Everything's got to be perfect for this to happen. Your horses have to work just right. You've got to have the right steer. You've got to nail the barrier. It really was spectacular to watch. Here's the way that it sounded on the Cowboy Channel and for the folks inside the rodeo in Austin.
J.C. Flake, we need to get it rolling in the roping. Bam! Wow. That is a brand new record.
Well, you see,
rodeo, not to mention Rodeo Austin. How about a 2.9 times sets a world high?
that's the voice of Hall of Fame rodeo announcer Randy Corley. You see the fist pump there from Dustin Egaskiza. He and his brother-in-law, Dustin's 5th in the world, JC's 6th in the world. And remember a week ago, James Arvizo and Rance Doyle were 3-2, and there we put them side by side.
Now, Rance Doyle has done this before, making that world record just a year ago in Nampa with the Oklahoman Mason Appleton. That was a big-time thing to see because, like we said, it took 16 years for them to match or to beat that 3-3. Then we had a 3-2, now a 2-9. To watch them side by side, you will miss it in the blink of an eye. But the precision that it takes as a team to make something like that come together, it was really fun to read the take that J.C. Flake had with what all had to go right with Dustin Egaskiza and that team to make such an incredible run come together.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, everything's got to be just right.
Absolutely.
You got to nail the barrier. Your horses have to be perfect. You've got to have the right swing on the head side. You got to have one shot and a look at those heels. It was pretty impressive. Congratulations. You know, we all know Dustin Egaskiza likes to throw fast.
Yes,
and now we know that he just kicked it up another notch.
And now we know that JC can keep up as well. But that's not the only big-time things happening at Rodeo Austin. As we prepare for tonight's performance, let's take a little trip down memory lane of what we have seen so far. You're talking about the format. When we see what's happening in Austin, it's a little bit different from the rough stock events and the women's WPRA events like the breakaway roping and the barrel racing to what you see in the men's timed events. And kind of explain how this format
It's
shakes
one
out.
head, and then they bring back to 3 semifinals in the 2 women's events, the barrels and the breakaway, and the riding events, the bareback riding, the saddle bronc riding, and the bull riding. The timed events, the steer wrestling, the team roping, the tie-down roping, they're starting their final set tonight. And then they will take the top hands in the aggregate on 2 into Saturday's championship finals. So that's the way that it works in Austin. Let's take a look at the best performance out of the first semifinal. This is Austin Toby from Minnesota, 16th in the world standings and only about $600 out of the top 15, and she's lighting them up with a time of 14:56.
This is a perfect setup for her. We've seen her across the barrel racing scene, but here's the thing. She's a 2-time Great Lakes Circuit champion cowgirl. These trappy, tiny setups are her jam. They are exactly what she could call her bread and butter, if you will, with these incredible horses. The ground, the horses, the grit, it just keeps getting faster. But we've already seen what Carly Otero had to do. But with that 14.56, it just keeps getting better. But in the breakaway roping, she is back and ready for more action. Kelsey Domer graces us in the arena yet again with smile, pink, and roping the whole head. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Kelsey, of course, 10 times a world champion. She won a gold buckle in 2024. And Kendra Santos, I saw a post on Facebook earlier today talking about how great it is to see that smile. We all know what Kelsey's been through the last month of her life, the last 6 weeks of her life. And to see her back and competing and roping, welcome back, champ. And oh, by the way, 2 seconds flat, she lit him up.
2 flat, yes, she did. Cade Saunier in the bareback riding, 86.5 big ones on Dakota Rodeo's Wild and Out. From collegiate baseball to 2 trips to the big show. This is putting him in the top 15 in the world. He's looking for a 3rd trip, and it all starts during the Texas swing. He was just a half a point ahead of Tanner Ross right here with this great ride.
Yeah, this was a rematch. He got on this horse at the National Finals Rodeo last December, rode the horse for 83 here, 86.5. So that's the first night of the semifinals for Cade Saunier, 86.5. We'll see if that's good enough to get him into that top 8 when they come back to the championship round on Saturday night. Brody Kress, 84 points on Dakota Rodeo's Bartender. And we'll see, again, is that going to be enough points with 2 more semifinal rounds still to go?
That's a good point to make, but a big-name cowboy and a big-named horse like Bartender coming together. Leighton Green was just behind him as well. But when you take a look at these scores, like you said, this is going to be interesting to see because this is just the first set of the semis that we're having a chance to see. It's going to keep getting better. Surely, if you take a look at the day sheet for tonight and tomorrow, it's going the possibility of seeing a lot of great rodeo action and the scores get even bigger. But again, it's Rodeo Austin. Who knows where we're going to cap it out at? But the bull riding, no such luck last night.
There were a lot of good bull riders' names on the day sheet last night.
And a lot of great bulls, too.
Yeah, a lot of guys you would know. And this is a montage of every single bull winning and all of the bull riders getting bucked off. And so that means the door is wide open for the guys that are competing tonight and competing tomorrow night at the Rodeo in Austin. And we will see who can get a bull ridden or 2 or 3. There are still several spots left. Obviously, they didn't fill any of them last night in the bull riding.
No, they did not. But like you said, there's more opportunities for that to happen tonight. Rodeo Austin is coming up this evening right after Western Sports Roundup. I'm going to stay here along for the ride with you right here on the Cowboy Channel. Playoff 2, Performance 3 of Rodeo Austin.
Rides the horse of the year, Rudy, out from behind the barrier line. Has to keep the calf standing. He does so. Come on, Riley, you got it. What? We just broke the arena record by nearly a second. It all stands. Denton, Texas, there's your man.
Riley Webb at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, winning his 3rd title at Rodeo Houston, a time of 6.5. On a day when the arena record fell a couple of times at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Shane Hanchy had been 7-2, just ahead of Riley. Riley Webb, the 3-time and reigning world champion, now 3-time champion of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, joins us on Western Sports Roundup. And Riley, let's talk about what we just watched. I, honest to goodness, never thought I would see somebody go 6-point anything on that football field in Houston. You were just 6'5". Tell us about that run.
Yes, sir. A great set of calves Atlanta Mangold had for us in the final round, and it got fast quick. Shane first roper out 7-2, and then Kincaid followed it up with 7-3, and then I had to do something. So got a really good start. I knew we had a good calf, and had to try the throw on and try to keep her standing. And it's kind of at that point, you just let muscle memory take over and go as fast as you can.
I like that you brought up that muscle memory kind of taking over right there. But as far as confidence as an athlete, is there anything that you know technicality-wise that you are better at, or that you can even really let it all hang out? Does it come to time it takes for you to throw, time down the rope? Where do you think yourself is the best at saving some time in some areas when you have to put a time like this one up?
Like in that run right there, I put two hands on the slack and then started pulling it to me as I'm in the stirrups. So trying to shorten the rope up from the calf to my hands and getting the rope tighter and be able to get send and cut about 2 foot out of the rope to get down the rope faster.
Tell us about Rudy, Riley. How good was Rudy in Houston?
Rudy's been great the last 3 years for me, and he shines there. 20-foot box, and they're out in front of you, so he gets to show off and show what he's best at. So I think he's so good at Houston, and then the summertime rodeos where the calves are out in front of you, you got to go 3-4 swings and set your run up. He's really, that's a strong suit for sure.
I'm glad that you guys just brought this up, because that was what I was curious about, because he's always been so great outside, but it seems like there's nowhere that this horse fails. Do you think that it is those setups? But do you think that Houston being so loud and in a dome like that one, do you think it impacts him at all? Do you prepare him any differently for a setup like that?
Not really. We at home we make our box 20 foot. Most of the time, everywhere you go, like here at Austin and other rodeos, the box will be 16 foot usually, and Houston's 20 foot, and some other rodeos during the year be longer box like that. But at home we set it up same length and kind of practice like that. But other than that, no, he's pretty good in his setup. But he does better there, I think, because he gets caught up. He gets across there so fast and runs the same speed of the calf at all times and lets me do my job.
So Riley, let me follow up on that. Is that something you do? It's hard when you're traveling and you're on the road all summer long, obviously, but as you have the opportunity, try to duplicate the setup of the big rodeos you're going to in your practice pen at home?
Yes, sir. The big ones for sure. You try the NFRs, it's typical 16-foot box, 400 start. Houston's 20-foot box, and that's the biggest one where we would want to change something and work on that. We at home, a couple weeks prior to Houston, and we do that and rope, and it's just a different feeling for sure. You're 4 foot farther behind the calf, and just a different feel. Not too much, but it's still easier to get a feel and practice like that for sure.
You're so knowledgeable in being able to break this down. I know the fans at home certainly enjoy that for sure. But when it comes to a rodeo like Houston, like this one, and what we saw with Shane Hanchey and Kincaid Henry, and then yourself, we're taking a look at the top 3 in the world right now. Do you think this is kind of setting up the rest of the year? We're going to be seeing kind of a battle with the veterans and you young guns?
Oh, for sure. All those guys rode good. Shane, and Kincaid were in the Final Four last year as well at Houston and in the American. So, I think, they rode good all the time and got started off a good winner. You got Haven Medjed there too, Marty Yates, veterans and world champions as well. It's always a battle you're up against the best guys in the world every day. You just keep grinding and keep doing the best you can. But, yeah, it started off to a good start. Kincaid's high call at Austin right now too, so he's had a great winter.
Riley, you're in the last set of tie-down ropers at the Rodeo in Austin, starting tonight, continuing tomorrow night. You've never won the rodeo in Austin, Texas. Tell me about roping in Austin.
Yes, sir. I think I won second or third in 23 right after winning Houston for the first time. So that's the most success I've had here. So hopefully we can get rolling, keep the ball rolling, and do good and be back here Saturday night for the short round. And then we head over to San Angelo for the slack Monday, Tuesday.
It's a big run right here in the Texas swing. Riley, congratulations on all of the success that you've already had this season, and it just keeps getting better. Thanks for being here and walking us through this win on Western Sports Roundup.
Y'all for having me.
Thanks to Riley Webb for joining us after a 6.5 and arena record to win the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Coming up, what happens when you take a couple of world champions, T. Wade and Wesley Thorp, pair them up with a group of kids that are rising stars in the team roping? We'll tell you about it on the way.
And later on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to take you to Andrews, Texas for a little steer roping action. Our good friends in the Fisher family, they have that Fiser Memorial steer roping. A lot of great steer ropers under one roof and a big, fun weekend to be had. Taylor Santos cashed in yet again for the second time in the last few weeks. We'll tell you all about it coming up on Western Sports Roundup.
Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of the PRCA and Cowboys everywhere.
Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim. Live boldly. Live in rock and roll denim.
Man, it was an amazing round last night. It started off a little slow, and I started making excuses for them, and then they just blew it out of the water.
What we saw with Lisa Lockhart and Carly Otero, lots of speed here.
Yeah, this AI thing is just so cool to watch. It just shows how close just a nose is, and sometimes you can beat yourself up over to a couple tenths of a second.
Cowboy Plus is headed to the Emmys. Our work on the 2025 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo has been nominated for a Sports Emmy Award in the George Wenzel Technical Achievement Award category for AIQ, where data meets dirt. It marks the first time a rodeo broadcast has received a National Sports Emmy nomination, placing the sport and the innovation behind it on the same stage as the biggest leagues and productions in sports. Now, congratulations go to all the teams at Cowboy Plus, Teton Ridge, TWGAI, and Palantir who helped to bring it to life. And congratulations to all the nominees for driving innovation in sports. This is a big moment for us and for rodeo. So let's talk about pro rodeo superstars giving back. And joining us are a couple of world champions. Tyler Wade, he's got a pair of gold buckles. Wesley Thorp, he's got 3. And you're taking a look at action from their next generation roping over the weekend held in Stephenville, Texas. This was a great opportunity, and it's something they've done for a few years now, to help the next generation of team roping superstars really get ahead of the game and really get to enjoy and participate in this sport and learn from a couple of the best ever in Tyler Wade and Wesley Thorp. And T. Wade and Wesley join us on Western Sports Roundup. Tyler, let's start with you. Tell me about the purpose behind this roping event that you guys put on over the weekend, and how many kids were there?
Yeah, it was a 4-day weekend. This is the 3rd annual roping that we've had, and it was a really good turnout. I think there was 530 contestants from 32 states. You know, we got a lot of money given away to a lot of ropers. I think they said there was like 164 people that went home with at least one check. It was a really good weekend, and one of my favorite parts was probably the sled rope, and I would say that's for the more beginner, novice ropers, and that's probably Wesley and I's most fun. We even take the reins and flag that one.
Wesley, why is that your most fun roping? Why is that the one you enjoy the most of the weekend?
Man, I think it's so cool to see all those kids. It's a lot of them's very first time they've ever competed, so they're at that gap where they know how to ride, they can rope, but they're not at a safe enough spot to really go compete on live cattle yet, or they've just started competing on live cattle. It's just a really controlled environment for them to work on, competing, getting to put some money up, rope with their friends their age, and get to see them have some fun and some excitement without putting them in those dangerous situations. So it's really fun to watch them get excited about it and kind of get their feet wet.
Tyler, we've talked about this before, and so this might be a repetitive question, but I think it's an important question. Why did you guys get involved in this? Why did you start putting this youth event together?
We have no desire to be roping producers whatsoever. But, we're just driving down the road and we kind of seen a gap in the sport where we thought we could fill it. So that's exactly what we've done. We love helping the kids. We love growing the sport. We're usually just doing clinics, and, we talked about it in the truck one day, and Wesley booked a date at the arena, and it was just kind of all systems go at that point. We just decided to see what we could come up with, and it has been more rewarding than I thought it would be for sure. It's a lot of hard work, but it's so fun to see those families and kids from all over the U.S. having a good time, meeting each other, and, enjoying the sport that we love so much ourselves.
Wesley, Tyler told me in an earlier answer, he talked about, I think, 532 contestants this year. How much has this grown over the last 3 years?
Man, it's grown a lot. It doubled from year 1 to year 2. I think we had around 1,000 entries the very first year, and then we went up to right at almost 2,000 entries last year, and then this year we're like 2,100 entries altogether between all the events and the breakaway, sled roping, the numbered opens. So it's really grown each year, and I mean, we were so tickled with the turnout we got the very first year, but man, the last 2 years they just seem to keep coming from different parts of the world. And the cool thing is that was over like 32 different states. So there was a lot of high school rodeo finals in Texas going on that weekend that pulled pretty big groups of team ropers that couldn't quite make it. So we were getting that big a turnout from 32 different states around the U.S. showing up to compete. So it's kind of turned into a bucket list event for them, and that's really cool to see.
It's interesting, Tyler, because I'm thinking about it. You're putting this big roping on one of the biggest weekends of the year, when you've got the finals going on in Houston and all of the other things that are happening in pro rodeo. But you guys still found the time to put on a roping.
Yeah, last year we made the finals in Houston, so we actually had to take a private plane down there and go rope the last year, and we ended up winning third. But Ben Clements and his crew and everybody behind us, from our sponsors to family to great friends, we really couldn't do it without them, and we truly do mean that, because without these sponsors stepping up and actually supporting us, and then having a great crew like the Extreme Team Roping crew, we really, we like to be there, but we've got the right people hired where we don't have to be there to make the production run smoothly. So as long as we got a great team and great sponsors, it's going to take a lot of weight off our back to have a good event.
Wesley, team ropers have always had jackpots that they could go to. But think back to when you were the age of some of these young people you watched rope this weekend. Did you have opportunities like this at all? I have a theory that one of the reasons our sport is growing so much is that there are so many guys like you and Tyler giving back and creating opportunities for young people to compete. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. I think you're exactly right. There was an event that I got to go to, me and Tyler both got to go to growing up, called the World Junior, and it was based out of Oklahoma. And kids from all over the world came to compete. The pros were there roping in the open roping, and then there was a chance for the pros to rope with the kids. So it was such a unique opportunity, because you were getting the very best kids in one spot to kind of measure where everybody was, but also getting to rope with the guys you looked up to. So that, about 8 or 10 years ago, they quit. They were not able to keep doing that event, and we felt like there was a gap there. And we're like, man, that was such a cool experience for us. So we kind of made some tweaks and changed some things for kind of how the direction team roping is going now, and implemented those and tried to kind of bring that back to where there's literally a spot for every level of roper that's a kid to compete. Plus, they get to watch the pros and compete along with the pros in a couple of youth pro-ams. So it's a really cool event for us to get to bring all that together and literally watch from the sled roping all the way up to the highest level of youth, and them compete with the pros. So, we get to see the transformation from the beginning to the end.
Tyler, before I let you go, your thoughts on how things have gone for you and Wesley this year so far. We're still early in the rodeo season. We're right in the middle of the Texas swing, getting ready to wrap up Austin. We just saw a super fast time there at 2.9 the other night. How are things going for you guys?
It's been a little bit of a rough start, but we're headed to the BFI this weekend, and then we'll go to San Angelo and try to get some Texas Circuit money won, and just, honestly, just kind of keep going and see what happens next.
Wesley, how important is this time of year to you as you set up the rest of your rodeo season?
There's honestly stepped up to be so many good rodeos now where, the spring, there's a lot of good springtime rodeos. There's a lot of, the summer rodeos. So there's a lot of opportunities to kind of get back up into the swing of things. But the winter's always definitely been a a place to kind of get ahead and get a jump on things, because you're not going to a large amount of rodeos, but you have a chance to win a lot. And but now, I mean, there's a lot of rodeos stepping up, and committees really stepping up to the plate and making, there's a handful of really good spring rodeos to go to, and then the summer has gotten better and better. So a lot of opportunities keep stepping up.
Wesley Thorp, Tyler Wade, both world champions. Guys, thank you so much for reaching out to the next generation of rodeo superstars. Thank you for your time here today on Western Sports Roundup. It's always a pleasure, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, fellas. Tyler Wade and Wesley Thorp joining us on Western Sports Roundup. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, one of the biggest steer roping events of the year, the Fiser Memorial, and on the heels of winning $100,000 at the timed event, Taylor Santos stepped up again. We'll tell you the story coming up. Inside Pro Rodeo, take you to what's happening. From the stock market report, we highlight the best bucking horses and bucking bulls of the previous week. This week, Inside Pro Rodeo, we'll have a chance to talk to Rowdy Parrott about steer wrestling, and we'll have a chance to introduce you to National Finals Rodeo qualifier Brushton Minton, one of the best tie-down ropers in the country. That is all on the way on Inside Pro Rodeo here on the Cowboy Channel.
And right here on Western Sports Roundup, our friends over in Andrews, Texas, have the Fisher Jr. Memorial Steer Roping. It's a big weekend for steer ropers from across the country. They've got a golf tournament. They've got so many different things, old school team tying, and the collegiate and PRCA sanctioned steer roping. It's a big weekend, a lot of family, a lot of friends, and a lot of fun. Here's more on the big event.
This roping got started originally, it was just called the Fisher Ranch roping. It was started back in the 80s, kind of when I first started steer roping, and we had it during the Odessa Rodeo at that time. My dad was still alive at that time. And then after he passed away, Ben wanted to move it and make it a memorial roping all about this roping instead of part of the Odessa Rodeo jackpot. So it was, Ben is the one that kind of wanted to start this whole thing. So, and it's just grown every year ever since.
I wanted to do something just to make sure when people are gone, they're not forgotten. My granddad was a great man. He loved Andrews. He grew up here his whole life. He ranched here his whole life. He roped, and it's kind of an unfortunate situation for him, but his father passed away when he was a senior in high school, so he never got the opportunity to go to college, but he had a love for education and made sure he put his kids through college. He set up a trust to put all of his grandkids through college, and that's really what his legacy was. He loved rodeo, he loved roping, and he loved education, so that's how we came up with the Fisher Jr. Memorial Scholarship, steer roping and money for kids. So far, we've given away about $175,000. After this year, we'll go over $200,000. Every dollar goes to an Andrews High School senior who excelled in academics and sports. We tried to make it to where you had to play sports, juggle that routine and of being able to play sports and also excel in academics. And so we have our applicants, and we've got a process of about 8 people random throughout the town that are prominent people that read the applications and pick our winners. And I'll tell you another neat thing about the community. This year, my son was a senior in high school, played high school football. His safeties coach was a former winner of our scholarship who we actually helped go to school all 4 years. And so it's neat to see that come back, that young kids at the time that won the scholarship went to school, got their education, come back, and now they're coaching my son at Andrews. That's pretty awesome. It actually got started back in 07, but it wasn't part of the PRCA at that time because they didn't do single event PRCA approved roping. So we actually had it a few years, and it was pretty good, but once we partnered with the PRCA, it's blown up. I mean, that's what you get when you partner with the PRCA. We went from 56 ropers in 2016 to 96 in 2024. So we've been on a growth curve. The community part of it has gotten really big because what happens is that you see we've had a lot of people come out from church and from other people in town. Corey's preaching, they come out, they gather. The golf tournament's really gotten to be a big social event for the community because you have people from all different industries in the oil field, ranching, farming, everything come together to be part of the tournament. They want to be part of it, and so that's really grown. And So it's almost turned into coming from a weekend into a week-long event. So I have a lot of family that comes in, kind of turns into a family reunion. They come in for the week. We have a big dude rodeo so that all my cousins can get on some steers and shoot dogs some steers. And shoot, we have a great time at it. The winner won a belt buckle, a new guy this year, and he's having a great time, Chandler. Friday, we have a big golf tournament that we max out at 36 teams every year. And we have a blast. And after the golf tournament, we have a rope off between all the flight winners. And everybody wins a buckle if you win the flight or you win the rope off. And so people are just eat up with it. It's got to be a fun tournament.
Yeah, it is. We have a church service. A lot of people come for the church service, and then they stay for the barbecue, and it's all free. We cooked out here last night. These same people that cooked all the barbecue, they cooked and had a band and danced and, you know, just had a real good time. It's kind of a whole weekend. The golf tournament is probably the biggest thing, though. It brings in more money from all the sponsors that bring a four-man team. They max out. They have a waiting list for teams to get into it, and that brings most of the money for the scholarship, and we're real appreciative of those people.
Barbecue is a great deal. Delbert Jackson really started the barbecue just to feed everybody. Delbert, Jackie Wilson, and Marco are my other three main committee guys, and they started just to feed everybody. Well, it's kind of like everything else, turned into competition. You start advertising buckles for the winners, next thing you know, you go from one guy cooking to about 8 teams cooking. And so if they cook all night long, they cooked for all the ropers last night, cooked them pulled pork. Today they cooked brisket and sausage for everybody, and those guys hadn't slept yet. And so we just had our buckle presentation. I'm telling you right now, these guys, they'd rather win that buckle more than a steer roper wants to win the rope. And it's that important. Like they are, I mean, it is agony of defeat and the excitement of victory. Trust me when they announce those winners.
I'm good friends with Vin Fisher and the Fisher family, actually business partners with them. And they asked us about 8 years ago to kind of help cook. And we were cooking for 300 people, so I decided to turn it into a little barbecue cook-off. So I started getting my friends out. We got 5, 6 teams, kind of make it a competition, and it takes the work off of me. We do a burger cook at Vin's house on Thursday night. On Friday, we cook at the golf tournament. Saturday night, we cook for all the Cowboys out here after they get through roping, and then we cook all night Saturday into Sunday to feed everybody after the church, all the Cowboys and everything, a full brisket dinner. We have good friends, good barbecue. It's a fun time. All right, this is our 2024 champions this year on the barbecue cook-off. This is Jay Laura, Mario Mongolia. These are the guys that won the buckle this year. Both of them from Odessa, Texas. They turned their brisket in number 5 team, and they got number 1 brisket on the entry. We had 5 entries, and we cooked 30 briskets, so everybody cooked 6 briskets apiece. We were all out here about 12 to 14 hours.
The number 5 man of the world going for his 23rd national finals appearance. For the 4-time world champion who won his first one by the closest margin ever, $1.67 over Guy Allen.
The PRCA World Standings and steer roping, these big events really control those standings. People can make a big jump. Cole Patterson won $10,000 last year. He was the world champion. This was his 2nd largest win of the whole year. And that is pretty neat to show that at the end of the year, you look back and say, hey, the MM Fisher is where I got my big jump to make the finals. The MM Fisher is where I got a big jump to win the world. So it is definitely a huge impact on the standings.
Wow, Steve, I think this just sounds like the most fun weekend to be spending in Andrews, Texas. I mean, talk about a great cook-off, a golf tournament, the dude rodeo, but the action inside the arena was plenty exciting. Let's talk about some of these great athletes.
The Fisher family kept it all in the family. J. Tom Fisher in the number 2 spot overall. To 4-head roping, J. Tom finished at 48.6 seconds on 4. Total money won $9,273. That's a pretty good kick in the world standings in the single steer roping and an opportunity to qualify, go to Mulvane, Kansas in November in the national finals. And so congratulations to J. Tom Fisher. Placed in 2 out of 4 go-rounds, and there was only one man better than J. Tom.
He had some pretty big checks in those first 2 go-rounds as well, but no checks like what Taylor Santos had the chance to cash yet again. $8,291, just 48.2 on 4 to win this title. But here's the thing, that's just 0.4 of a second ahead of what J. Tom was able to do. This was a fight till the end.
Well, think about what Taylor Santos has been through in the last couple of years. Hip surgeries, knee surgeries. He comes back at the beginning of the month of March at the Lazy E Arena in Guthrie, Oklahoma, wins the timed event championship. That's over $100,000. He told ProRodeo.com that he really wished there were 60 days in March instead of 31 because this month has been so incredible for him. He's moved up to the number 8 spot in the world standings. There you take a look at the top 5. But Taylor, coming off of all of those health issues, finds himself winning the timed event and now winning the Fiser Memorial steer roping. Those are 2 of the most prestigious events a timed event cowboy can compete in pro rodeo.
Absolutely. And this is a lot of steers to go head-to-head with this entire time. But congratulations to Taylor Santos. I wish there was 60 days in the month of March as well, too. But that's the Fiser Jr. Memorial steer roping in Andrews. What a great event. But from the steer roping to the bull riding, next on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to take you to PBR Indianapolis. It ended in a very big way with some big scores and great rides. We'll tell you about it next. Time in the sport of rodeo, and you can guarantee that Cowboy Plus will bring you all of the action all the time. Tonight, Cave Creek Extreme Bulls from Arizona, Extreme Bears in Bronx and North Dakota, Ellis County, Waxahachie, Texas, and more streaming live with Cowboy Plus. You do not want to miss these big events and have that subscription.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the highlights from the professional bull riders over the weekend. Indianapolis, the venue, and it seems like every weekend somebody different steps up in the PBR and makes a little noise. And we will tell you who stepped up in Indy as we talk about round number 1. This was 2 long rounds and then a short round. Hudson Bolton, remember last year's PBR Rookie of the Year, also qualified for the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. 89.9, first place at go round number 1.
This is a great bull for him to have had as well, and he was really able to showcase his abilities. But we watched what he was able to get done as the PBR Rookie of the Year. He's showing what he's done for the teams, and as well as the Unleash the Beast Tour. This was a big place for him to show out. Thiago Salgado versus Crazy Sox, 88.3 to win round 2. Take a look at these big scores when you keep watch over each round, one after another. The caliber of these animal athletes and the caliber of bull riders is just insane. But here's what's happening in Indianapolis. The PBR tour is kind of on the downfall right now. It's headed into the World Finals. And to watch these guys, they're having to step up because they are chasing world titles, much like Brady Fielder.
Yeah, Brady Fielder on Freedom Fighter. This is his second Unleash the Beast Tour win of the year. He made 2 91.8-point rides, including in the championship round where he turned in the best ride of anybody. He was also 91.8 earlier in the event. And as a result, 2 rides, went 3 for 3, finds himself winning his second big event of the year, the only bull rider to cover all 3 of his bulls, and he will jump to the number 4 spot in the world standing.
This is a big way, and for Hudson Bolton to be in the number 2 position in Indianapolis, whew, that is tough to get out of my mouth today. But taking a look at these athletes right here, like I said, the number 2 position, Hudson Bolton, Leandro Zempoyo, Marco Rizzo, and Luciano De Castro bring in the aggregate in the top 5 from Indianapolis.
So that's the way that it looked in Indianapolis. Here's an updated look at your world standings. Look how close it is between John Crimber, number 1, and Sage Kimsey, number 2. They're just separated by a few points. Leandro Zampolo is not that far behind, and Brady Fielder is within 200 points of John Crimber with Paulo Eduardo Rosetto in the number 5 spot. So those are your top 5. Brady Fielder, the number 1 man in Indianapolis. And it could all change again this coming weekend at the Pit in Albuquerque, one of the loudest events of the year, every year. The Ty Murray Invitational is coming to Albuquerque this weekend.
This is an exciting one as well because it will also be home to the Monster Energy Team Challenge, the last one that we will be seeing next on Western Sports Roundup. We're going to be talking about just that. The Missouri Thunder head coach Ross Coleman had a chance to catch up with me earlier today and talk about the team, their ability, and their plans for going after that title here coming up in this season. All that and more on Western Sports Roundup. PBR and all of the action taking place right now. The Monster Energy Team Challenge has been a new format that we've seen this year to showcase the PBR teams, but none have competed like the Missouri Thunder. They've gone 4-0. That is 4 wins at 4 events. No losses just yet, with one more event in Albuquerque this weekend. Ross Coleman is their head coach, and I had a chance to catch up with him about all the success they've had this season so far. This season has already been really exciting to watch. Your team has been unstoppable, but you and I had a chance to talk a little bit before we got the interview started. What do you think it is about these guys as a whole that has made them so successful thus far?
You know what? We got a bunch of young guys that are up and coming in the world of the PBR that are, they're making a world title race right now, trying to win that world championship tour. But it's so cool to see these guys get together when you get them in the locker room and the way they feed off each other. And I tell the guys all the time, you're only as good as your company. And when you get around these guys, you're watching Cade Madison right there. And Cade Madison is a young buck that's from Utah that's just a superstar in the making. And he's not going to be with us this weekend with the injury, but you're looking at Paulo Rossetto here, left-handed. And Paulo Rossetto is an awesome Brazilian guy that's our number one gunner in our team. And you get him around Andrew Avidrez and Maverick Smith and these young up-and-coming superstars in the world of the PBR. They just make each other better, and I just love being a part of it. And it seriously is such a blessing for me every time I get around these guys, because I push them to the limit and I get after them in a positive way, and we go to work, let me tell you.
Cade Madsen's won one of these victories for you, but it was Paulo Rossetto that has won 3 of the 4. What is it about him as a talent that has truly been making him the go-to, that when you need to play someone that you know is going to put a top hit out there, it's going to be him?
Well, Paulo's just got a feel for a bull that's just amazing, first off. And second off, he rides left-handed or right-handed. He's just a crazy bull rider from Brazil that just can do that. And not anybody in the world in America or around the States knows really how to ride a bull right-handed or left-handed at this top level. So you look at him, like he's got a bull called X Factor on Friday night, and he's a really strong bull to the left. So that's going to fit Paulo to a T, putting his left hand in the bull rope. So it's pretty cool. I think the future might see Paulo being such a superstar, and there might be kids in the future that are starting to ride both hands. So it's just been such a great honor to be a part of this awesome team, Missouri Thunder. So it's been good.
I'm glad you're talking about some of those kids trying to come up and maybe watching what your team members are doing, like Paulo. But what does the practice pin look like for these guys? We know where their greatness is at, but are you guys also working on some of those things that they can fine tune? I mean, with someone like him that goes both ways, are you just running bulls in back to back?
Absolutely. Every time Paulo shows up at the practice pin, he wants one to the left, one to the right. We're watching the Liz Clay dos Santos right here, another awesome young Brazilian that's just got crazy talent. Liz K reminds me of our GM, Luke Snyder, when he used to ride, how much feel and timing and balance and good posture, and sticks his chest out and just finishes bulls off strong. And we actually picked up this Liz Clay dos Santos this last weekend as a free agent because of guys like Cade that are hurt. Macaulay Leather's hurt this weekend. Miguel de Jesus is hurt this weekend. So we had to find a couple of new UFAs out there, and we're blessed to have a Liz Clay in the lineup. And we got some other superstars out there that are going to be riding for us. Maverick Smith is one of them to talk about. And he's making a rookie run right now, and he might even have a chance to win the world title. So it's been fun to see these guys be so good.
They aren't just good, they are great. And with 4-0 right now, and then we've got this weekend in Albuquerque with the Florida Freedom, is there anything you guys have been doing to fine-tune to be prepared for what we've got coming up?
You know what? We just been ourselves. Everything we do, we talk about everything every single day. We're just going to go to work, and we're going to outwork everybody no matter what we do, whether we're in the gym, in the therapy for rehab, in the practice pen, entered up wherever we're at. We're going to go to work, and we're going to go win. So we just enjoy everything about this team, and we're blessed to have a guy like our Luke Snyder, our GM Luke Snyder, behind us, taking care of all the stuff at the office, signing all these guys up and hooking them up in the right way and taking care of our roster. And that's Andrew Avidrez you're looking at right there. That's our West Texas Cowboy, and he is a warrior, and he is first-class Cowboy, and he's got a good one drawn this Friday for us. So we got a great team ready to go to work and maybe the best team.
Well, the West Texas Warrior himself, Andrew Alvidrez, is just one of 3 that we will be seeing. Mavericks with another young gun joining the team in Paolo Rossetto, ranked number 5. We have ranked number 12 and ranked number 7. The Unleash the Beast tour. That's individually, that's these talents. But coming together as a team, they have been unstoppable. Missouri Thunder 4-0. Can they do it again? We shall see when they go head-to-head with Florida Freedom in Albuquerque this weekend. We already talked about the good draws that they have in the pit. You're going to want to watch the Ty Murray Invitational, Unleash the Beast. But next on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to talk about history that's been made yet again at Rodeo Houston. Cody Johnson, that's a big record. We'll tell you exactly what that is next on the show.
Time for your American Hat Company Positive Times. Congratulations to the folks at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and to Kojo, Cody Johnson, who set a brand new attendance record Sunday, 80,203 people. That's slightly more than George Strait drew in 2013. He even did a surprise duet with Carrie Underwood during that show. 80,200 people came out to watch Cody Johnson on Sunday at Rodeo Houston. Congratulations, Kojo.
It's time for our top 3 stories of the day, presented by Vetericyn Clean Treat Heal.
And let's talk about the professional bull riders. Brady Fielder, a winner in Indianapolis, the only man to ride all 3 of his bulls. He jumps to the number 4 spot in the PBR's world standings after that solid performance in Indianapolis. Next up on the Unleash the Beast Tour, a trip to Albuquerque.
The annual M.M. Fisher Jr. Memorial Weekend there in Andrews, Texas. Taylor Santos has a very big month of March, and he has cashed in yet again, taking the title there, and some really great runs he put together in the steer roping.
In case you missed it, how fast can team ropers go? Dustin Agaskiza, headside. J.C. Flake, his brother-in-law, heelside. 2.9 in Austin. That's the second time they've broken the world record in 2 weeks at Rodeo Austin. Yeah, boys, celebrate. They weren't very fast on their other steer, but they are winning a go-round Rodeo in Austin. Speaking of Austin, Texas, Elise is going to stick around with you and take you through the rodeo in Austin tonight. God bless everybody. This is Western Sports Roundup.